Hi there, expressions of consciousness. Thought we'd have another chat. I enjoy conversing with you. And I think it's only fitting that today's conversation is going to be centered on gratitude. And so I'd like to thank you for being here. I'd just like to thank your presence. Sharing with you guys has been my way of serving humanity. And it's been really uplifting for me. I've seen amazing changes in myself, in my life, and in my spiritual growth since starting these conversations with you. Since acknowledging more sincerely that we are consciousness, all of us. By us, I mean everything. And we're going to get into that. So, today is Father's Day. It's a day celebrated around the world. And if you're a South African, you know that men are being bashed currently. I have this trait of being able to see both sides of the coin. You guys remember Harvey Dent, Two-Faced? I get it though. I understand why they are bashing men. And I also understand men. Not fully, but to an extent. And I thought that this conversation would help people to also be open to maybe understanding that which they do not understand. And I thought, well, how can it be more beneficial to the soul, to us as consciousness? And last night, I watched for the first time ever, Eckhart Tolle went live on YouTube. You know, for my, I don't enjoy labeling, but if I could say my gurus, David Icke, Eckhart Tolle, um, so many others, but they are not in existence in the 3D. That's the third dimension. The I sometimes wonder how far to go with this, whether to delve into my own personal beliefs or just keep it flowing with us, this conversation going. You're gonna add in things that you believe through your thoughts. I mean, I've been waiting for you guys to comment, but so far not many comments or questions. I get it. I too would maybe be shy or not really into it, so I get it. I would love some questions, comments, criticisms, anything, you know. So anyway, yeah. So we living in this 3D world, this third dimensional world, and the gurus that exist here currently for me are people like Eckhart Tolle and people like David Icke. And I'm finding that they're coming out of their comfort zones and doing some new things, new innovative things. And it inspires me. I want to inspire you guys. I mean, my camera isn't that great quality. I don't have even, I don't know, 500 followers on Instagram, but I'm here. I'm taking up space. So I wanted to start off the gratitude conversation because lots of thoughts just run up in my head, and I think, I want to tell you guys this, I want to share this, and I share it on my WhatsApp, and some people comment, and then others are not really interested. And I thought, the greater audience, there's bound to be people out there who are going to listen. who are gonna have thoughts and ideas, who are gonna say new things to challenge my way of thinking and to introduce me to new ideas. So I'm always like letting these thoughts just run up in my head. And I thought about trees and how grateful I am for them because they take up space silently. A tree is so unforgiving of taking up space. So yesterday I spent some time with my mom, and we were speaking about our own personal conversation and so on, and she got to talking about how people who are out there, follow this one, sometimes do not give regard to the conservative family they come from, and how, well, you could actually be hampering the family, the people. And my relationship with my mother has become supremely beautiful. It's because I have chosen to respond to her as consciousness first and foremost, and then to allow her the beautiful gestures you would to the role that a human who plays your mother would. Beautiful gestures like thoughtfulness in terms of gifting her and taking her advice, maybe considering something that would be out of my comfort zone to please her. Those kind of things. I feel that they feed my soul too, and that the interaction breeds harmony into my life. I personally believe that your parents are divinely chosen for you. This is rich coming from someone who could never come to terms with the fact that they had lost a dad who, had felt robbed by the universe, by God. So I now have this belief that your parents are divinely chosen for you. And regardless of what label you can put on the relationship, it is exactly as it is. And you have the power to set healthy boundaries, to speak openly, to be loving, to be compassionate and understanding, and the list goes on. So, while speaking with my mom and listening to what she had to say, personally, I didn't entertain it too much. I opted to be more of a listener because immediately as the conversation reached its peak, the thought came into my mind. This is centered on labeling. Once you've labeled yourself a conservative, this is how you'll be. You'll identify with this label. I don't even know what is a conservative. Because if I were to put on a bikini now, I'd be a bit of a conservative. But right now, I'm being expressive. You see? So I feel like we all play numerous roles in numerous experiences. So let's flip the labels. Right? Okay. So then, as I'm walking now and I'm listening to all of this, I'm looking at these trees. We're taking a walk, and I'm looking at these trees down this busy road that we're walking down. It's in the neighborhood I live in, and I'm about to cross a very familiar road. One of my friends lives down there, and I see these lights flash, and it's one of my brothers. It's somebody who has, from the get-go, been the kind of soul that I had dreamt a brother would be like to me. Like like a like more labels, but like a blood brother, somebody who would sincerely tell me stuff. yet be compassionate, care, not want anything, and be open to receiving my love. So he flashed his lights, I greeted him. My mom, seeing my genuine happiness at seeing him, she smiled. They are of no relation to one another. He's somebody who I met amongst a group of people, and I immediately just clicked with this being. You know, that I would say is divine destiny. Deepak Chopra says this term synchro destiny. I like that one. So I noted, I got back to my thought on the trees. I was focusing on that to help me be a bit more present whilst listening to my mom. And we continued walking. I said peace to my bro. He left and he drove off, and I continued walking and listening to her, and I'm also looking at the trees, and I'm remembering that trees have this silent presence, but however they're unapologetic of taking up space. Actually, all plants, you can come and alter things, but they're gonna be there till you physically do something, or the other natural elements, because you are a natural occurrence. I know people like to label humanity as excuse me, scum and blah blah blah. I know I do it too, because I get pissed off with humans. We get pissed off with humans. But the truth is that, what are we? We're all natural occurrences. We're all consciousness expressing itself as human beings, as this awesome pillowcase. Cushion with the pillowcase. As this blankie, a dress, as that beautiful sunflower thingamajig. So we're natural occurrences like nature. However, we've been gifted this mind, right? And this different level of being. Personally, and this is a very personal belief, I believe that the mind actually tricked us a little, and that nature is actually the most divine uh, expression of consciousness, because it's so, nature cannot resist the nature, the universal laws. Nature simply is, it just will be, and whatever will go on around it, it will surrender to it. It will find a way. It has no concept of time. It responds to its environment. It's actually perfection. So I was considering these things, like how I will not pay attention to the label and I'll listen. And as I did, I learned a lot. I learned that it's okay for thoughts to come up in your mind where you're feeling like you're being targeted, you're being labeled. Um, it's okay for you to have these thoughts where you are labeling, where you are resisting another being. It's okay, because when that occurs, you now have room to grow from it. So I'm going to share with you how I have found that being grateful for experiences that one generally shies themselves from or tries to omit from their mind can actually benefit your being. Now, for those of you that are on the journey of developing this attitude of gratitude, you are probably starting with being grateful for things precisely as they are. Like, let's sit for a bit, a few minutes, seconds. Let's just let it happen. We're going to silently appreciate everything around us by giving it attention. I'm starting with myself. As I look at this video as it's being recorded on my laptop screen, as I look at the laptop, the camera, things around my lounge, you can focus on your breath as well. I'm sure you're grateful for your breath, right? I learned this beautiful thing from the Abundance Challenge, welcoming 21 days of welcoming abundance, um, presented by the Deepak Chopra Center. So you inhale, Su, and you exhale, Hum. There really is so much to be grateful for. The most simplest divine things, and then the most exquisite, magnificent things that you can think of. Let's even give thanks for our minds. I know that often, especially on my social media, you'll see I say silence the mind. What I mean is that don't give attention to your thoughts as much as you do. Why not focus that energy to giving attention to your consciousness? I do respect that we all on our own journeys and that the destination is the journey. So welcome, you're here already. Um, in this in this recent journey of exploration, I have been affirming for my own self that I would start to balance and align my chakras. I would give true attention to the energy within me. It's funny because when you're at this middle child age, I call it a middle child age because you still identify with youthful things, but you're able to grasp and maturely accept this divine wisdom, right? So at the stage where I find myself, I know that spiritualism is sometimes mocked, and people give you the sense of, if you say you're on a spiritual journey, you have to every single day 100% be a certain way, and that puts a lot of pressure on a person. I released those slowly. It takes so much of time, it takes so much of dedication, it takes so much of perseverance, but it can be so effortless if you could understand that paradox. Because you could make a slip up today, but because you understand that only right now exists, you don't hold it against yourself. My word, if I could introduce you guys to Tamlin in my workspace, you would see that I am such an infant on my journey. But in my personal life, outside of these pressures, these ideals, these ideologies placed on you in the workplace, I have started in my personal life to manifest this approach of first and foremost praising the divine, acknowledging the divine. See, the sun is about to go down. Before I get into my convo, I'm going to put on my light. So, you think of 3 things that you're grateful for right now. And I'm going to double it for you. While you're about to think of your 3 things and give it sincere, honest gratitude, I'm going to give gratitude on behalf of us, consciousness, to other expressions of consciousness, such as the sun, a massive provider of warmth and light and vitamin D. And to the space that is known to be the universe, the multiverses, to this existence. You're paying attention to it now, huh? Maybe your mind is going into thinking about it. That attention, that appreciation, is all you need to offer the universe. And I'm going to give appreciation for the manifestation that is us. You and I, we, souls, beings, humans, earthers, pure consciousness, existing on a frequency, playing in a realm, being. Let's give some gratitude for winter. Hot African summers can make you really despise the heat. Okay, that's the mind, right? But it's true. You'll find yourself, oh, it's so hot. And now the lovely balance of winter makes you realize, oh, sun, can the earth just rotate a little faster? And then you'll be a bit more closer. But everything has its season. And we're grateful for those seasons. I'm going to give you a few more minutes, a few more seconds. What is time? Let's give gratitude for the concept of time. I found myself being grateful for my father's passing. From deep within, I acknowledged that I had no control over it. I can't rewrite what has happened. I could be in denial, but the funny thing about denial is that there'll always be someone who will set you straight. I have this saying, since I could say I pray or I ask the universe to always gift me with the truth. And the truth does have a funny way of exposing itself to me. Um, I, I guess possibly I do manifest that, but I want to go even more deeper to say, well, perhaps it just, not even perhaps, it is exactly as it is. So giving attention to thoughts that create denial, self-denial, denial of where the self is, what the self is experiencing. I know I've shared some experiences of my own with you guys, if you had watched the previous videos, that have been traumatic for a person to go through. And now when I do introspection, I am sincerely grateful for those experiences. I understand how they molded me to be precisely who I am now, as an ego, as an expression of consciousness. I appreciate that this is my life's journey. And I think that appreciation comes so naturally once you surrender to the divinity of consciousness, of existence, of life as you know it. This surrendering, this acceptance, it's only a gift that you can gift yourself. It's that whole analogy of taking the donkey to the water hole and only the donkey can actually drink. Except here, you are the donkey, you are the water hole. You are the person who led you to. You're everything. And this had been quite free. And then in my more intimate relationships, I found that I found myself hanging on to someone a being I had known and learned a vast amount of wisdom and knowledge from. And I simply could not understand why. Until something very minor occurred and I reacted. And I was so ashamed of the way in which I reacted, because generally I am more responsive, particularly with this being. Um, I distanced myself for a while to ask myself, why am I doing this? And then I found that, hey, you know what? I am the I have been toxic in this being's life. And I never could find a way to address it. You know, like I told you guys, I'm still an infant on this journey. So certain times I get up into a little cocoon. I put myself into a little, I'm like a little snail. I get into my shell. I'm like, okay, I'm home now. You know, no one's here. I love snails, by the way. Like, they were one of my first pets when I was a kid. They carry their homes on their backs, the way we carry our homes wherever we go. Wow, I actually even can feel my heartbeat. Let's pause. Attention and thus appreciation for our heartbeat. I know you're loving the person that you're being. Sometimes we feel shy. We think that we can't love who we are. You know, sometimes we remember others who didn't love us the way we wanted to be loved. But we're deserving of love. And we're deserving of being beings that spread love. I'm going to say it again. We are deserving of love. And we are deserving of being beings that spread love. Pure, unconditional love. There's going to come a point when I personally believe it's the newer generations, but I have hope. It will be ours too. They'll teach us. I constantly learn from my nieces and nephews, where we will be able to give thanks for events that were catastrophic for humanity, events that the 1% had control over, crashes, slavery, the diminishing of entire races, like the Aboriginals of Australia, like the Native Americans of North America. You know, we will be able to give thanks sincerely, to acknowledge that this is exactly what had occurred, and it sparked a healing for humanity, a way forward. Consciousness, the God force, the divine, knows is all knowing precisely what is destined. This is why when I watch David Icke and I listen to what he's got to say, I love his proactiveness, but I personally infuse it with a little bit of Eckhart. So that as much as, yes, I can be aware of the 1%, the governments, coronavirus, COVID-19, racism, sexism, injustice, poverty, famine, classism, fascism. I can be aware of all of this and remain peaceful. Understand divinely that all I have to trust in is consciousness, is in the divine, is in the almighty, the infinite source, the absolute force, the energy that is love, the infinite energy that is the divine energy of love. So I was thinking about how I was toxic. I don't want to get into personal because naturally there are other beings involved. It's my personal story, but it involves others and I wish to respect them. But I realized that having gone through the things I had been through, it had made me a toxic person. And I mean, this is natural. Spend a lot of time in a radioactive zone and you yourself become radioactive, right? I had experienced things and not healed from them, not acknowledged them, not accepted them, and I had become toxic. And I couldn't be an ideal partner for a person that I was extremely infatuated with, that I adored. You know, I had told the universe this, and this is what I wanted in a guy. And then just randomly, I met this guy. I saw chicks around him, but I couldn't help but speak with him, get to know him. He spoke with me too. So I was quite taken aback. And then the gentleman found himself someone to be romantically involved in. And there's more details to the story that are unnecessary. But basically, I found myself being available, being there, when I should have exercised more self-respect, more discipline. And I'm sharing this because I want to create this environment where we feel comfortable with opening up and acknowledging that sometimes we have had bad things happen to us, and yet we are also the toxicity. We're toxic too. And once you, honestly, I want to tell you guys, once I sincerely expressed to this gentleman that I apologize for being toxic, for things that I may have subconsciously done, you know, once I acknowledged that, I felt so free. And in that time, to the lady who was involved, I released the burden of feeling ashamed of what I had done, of feeling jealous of her. She's a beautiful woman. And to be quite honest, I can even recall telling this gentleman that ladies who like him, I actually appreciate, because many of my people who I have intimate relationships with, especially like, your best friend will tell you, stay away from that dude, he's bad for you. Because the people who love you are inclined to not see how you are toxic, to always be supportive of you and try to you know take care of you. However, I do feel like it is a bit of taking care of your ego, but it's necessary. I understand why it's necessary. It allows for you to be real with you. Only you can be. Only I could look in the mirror and say, Tam, think about it. You know that this is not you. You know that you're so expressive, that you love, that you want to hug and hold, that you want to be free. But you act a certain way because you want to cling on to something that's not yours. And that is unhealthy, Tam. You're creating your own misery. When will you acknowledge it, Tam? Only you can be real with you. And once you are, oh my word, once you are, guys, it's like pizza. So after having said that, I don't have any intimate or even, how would I say, basic relationship with the lady. But I said out to the universe that I apologized to her. I can truly empathize with where she was at. I can truly understand why she would not like me. I can truly understand why she would want to distance herself from me and would put blame on me as to things not working out for her and that gentleman. And once I did that, I felt so free. I felt so at peace. I said out to the universe that now I know what I desire. I know what I'm ready for. I know that I am able to let someone in, male or female, young or old. I don't fuck a label. I want to connect. I want to be open to somebody receiving me and me receiving them. It breathes passion into me. It's actually very exciting. The thought, like, it stirs up energy, like around my root and sacral chakra. Like, I can actually feel a stirring, like a swirling. It's intoxicating. It's an aliveness. When you free yourself of shame that you were holding on to. And that is why I say that you can offer gratitude to experiences that ideally would have broken you. And you could look at them in such a different light. I was on Facebook on Friday evening, and I remember browsing through, and I saw this post of this gentleman saying, I would kill, just let me at them, I would kill rapists. And I felt inclined to say to him, that's not actually the most productive thing, though. It doesn't, it does little to manifest the right energy. That's quite true. we have the power to manifest the highest vibrational frequency, the most powerful, strongest energy by simply loving. And when you love, you that concept of love, that energy of love incorporates gratitude, attention, compassion. When you give something attention and you acknowledge it, you feel the force within you increase. A shift has begun with humanity, and this time I think that there isn't even a need to think, I'm gonna do this. Okay, let's actually do. Hey, how fitting. Even remove this. Where I had chosen to be on a couch. So my cousin had given me some couches to store for her. She's gonna be taking them away soon, and then I'm quite excited because although they're so useful, and even she's left her TV, excuse me, to be stored here, and her TV is so useful. It's giving me room for change and things that I wanted to attain, like a desk for where I can sit and write, because I find that I fall off to sleep sitting and writing on other spaces. I desire a desk. You find that you can literally express gratitude for every single occurrence. It's the way in which your mental approaches something, and you're going to train that. But for now, we're going to do what I said. So I want you guys to please get nice and comfortable. I'm just getting a bit warm with the blankie. Get nice and comfortable. And for now, you can even be seated upright, or if you want to lay down a bit. Okay? And we're going to be silent. We're going to put our hands upright. And as we're silent now, and we're just paying attention to this moment, the sounds around us, you're paying attention to this video. I'm paying attention to you by acknowledging the fact that you're here watching this. I created these videos for my nieces and nephews when they're adults and I may not be around, because my desire is to live in what the world terms rural. My desire is to go and build a self-sustaining home somewhere in a very natural setting. I feel it deep within my core that I will attain this goal, that I will achieve this. And I want to leave these videos for my nieces and nephews to watch a real space where they can be themselves and where they can feel accepted. And I'd like for you all to please put your hands up as comfortably as you can. You're going to be silent and observe the breath. There's a thought coming into your mind now. Maybe it's, what time is it my favorite show is going to start? Did I remember to feed my dog? Did I pick up my washing off the line? Did I check in on my employees? Allow those thoughts to exist. They're just existing. You have control over what you're paying attention to. Perhaps you feel a tingle in your fingers. It's pure energy flowing through you. Imagine how many forms you have. You, who you truly are. Multiple forms. Imagine that you are one with the things that you detest. It's hard to put it down, right? You can literally feel the tingle, feel the sensation, the aliveness. I actually feel like meditating right now. Such a peaceful space to be in. Home. A space where everything is perfect and okay, safe, divine. And you deserve that. You deserve, we all deserve that. Imagine that you are the things which you detest. A racist person, the elite 1%. I understand why they exist. I appreciate their existence. I respect the fact that everything has its own cycle. Even me, in this physical, not designed to last forever. What I truly am is infinite. What I truly am is forever, eternal, the eternal grace. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving gratitude a chance. Thank you, consciousness.